Hello, everybody, and welcome to what hopefully will be a recurring video. We're just going to kind of go over some travel news and just talk about what's going on in the travel world. I might have another guest jumping on, hopefully. She's messaging me. Let me message her really quick. I have Teresa with me. She is one of the agents at Awaken Travels. And then Vijal should hopefully be jumping on with us too. I just have to send her the link. So 2022 hopefully is going to be a better year for travel. That is what we're hoping. Things are looking a little they are looking promising right now. So I'm hoping that trend continues. You're also able to ask questions. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments and we'll try to answer any questions that we can. And what we can't answer, I can do some research and get back to you, or Teresa can, depending on
definitely
what kind of question it is. So I am still waiting. We'll see if Vijal comes. I guess I can go over some. So I don't know about you guys, but last year I did not do pretty much any travel. But I did have quite a few friends that really took advantage of the cheap prices and traveled all over. So I have one friend who's also a travel agent who's probably been on about 7 cruises since last fall to like
cheap right now. They are really cheap right now.
Yeah, and of course I did the cruise. I started out the year. So I think they're still going. Some of the cruise lines are a little bit more hesitant, but the Carnival Corporation seems like they're full steam ahead and they're not letting anything change their mind.
Yeah, we had clients go out on MSC and they did over in the Caribbean. Loved it, had fun, hit every port that was promised. Oh, nice. So it was great. She had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back out in March. I have another cruise. Oh, looks like there's a wash. Let's see. Let's get her in here. Okay. Hey.
Hi. I made it.
You did it.
Yeah.
So, we're just kind of giving an introduction that we're just going to be talking about what's kind of going on with travel, anything new that you guys feel is important for people to know. And I have some statistics. I was looking at some articles about travel this year, and it seems pretty promising. Like a lot of people are planning on traveling more this year, traveling internationally, and for longer. Like a week was like this thing says the number of days average trip plan for 2022. It was 7 to 8 was 25% people for their international trips, and 9 to 10 was 22% of people, and 11 to 14 was 21% of people, 15 plus 18%. Like short little trips were like the like 1% said 2 to 3 days, like 13% said.
We've been doing a lot of 7 to about 14 days.
Yeah, it's been getting bigger.
Yeah.
I think people are just tired. I think we all want to just get out and see the world now. I mean, there's restrictions in place, of course, for Corona, but at the same time, they're not so heavily restricted that you still can't go.
Exactly. Yeah, just knuckle down on the rules and you're fine. And they have fun. We had clients going into Croatia, and it was a lot of fun to see, how they were going to handle it there. They enjoyed their trip. They weren't like bothered in any way with any of the restrictions because, they were used to it from the United States, but they had a lot of fun. They were there for 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah. They did Game of Thrones tour.
And then we have somebody doing the Outlander tour too.
Yes, we do. We have Outlander trips going on, which is fun for them. They're excited to go. And
we got Hawaii weddings in Costa Rica. We've got lots of Hawaii trips, cruises. So
we're doing a huge wedding group in Mexico for them, for Mindy. So we're having fun. It's fun. We're kind of jaunting all over the globe right now with our clients.
Yeah, I've been noticing.
Coffee's a must.
Are you guys personally planning any trips this year?
Yeah, I think Vijel and I are looking to go to Mexico this year. We're trying to get into Mexico, and I definitely want to go to Costa Rica this year. I think I'm going to take the family at Christmas. My kids are older, so instead of like, here's some tennis shoes and here's some clothes, it's more experience driven for them. So I think we're going to do Costa Rica at Christmas, and probably I want to get into Hawaii sometime, maybe towards the summer. So.
Well, my parents have been asking me to go to Brazil for a long time. They bought their condo there on the beach about 7 years ago, and then I was living in Saudi, and that jaunt from Saudi Arabia to Rio de Janeiro is not something that I was going to do, even for my parents, because it's a long, long, long flight.
Yeah.
So, and then Corona and everything happened. So I'm going to try to get to Brazil, to Rio, in this summer, and finally go see their new apartment that they've been wanting me to see.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to do that. I have a friend in Morocco who's going to be in Canada. I don't know how we're going to get together, but we're going to try to figure out to get together in Toronto or somewhere between. She's from Saudi as well, so I want to try to do that. And I so just want to go back to Cancun. I want to go to the Riviera. I want to go to Tulum. I want to just go back there because we saw it so much. So I want to go back.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's pretty there. It's relaxing.
What about you, Cindy? Where are you off to?
Can you hear her, Vigil?
No.
Or is it just me? I can't hear you. I was doing my best to lip read.
I know.
Okay, can you hear me now again?
Yes.
Okay, I changed my microphone. I was trying to see if that was, I heard a little background noise and I want to make sure. Okay, I have a cruise I'm going to in March. My friend and I, Pat, are going to, she's going to fly to Chattanooga and we're going to drive down to New Orleans and go spend the nights there. And then we're getting on a cruise and it's going to like Cozumel, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica. I think that might be it. And then coming back. So that's in March. I'm flying to Mexico City in May. I'm going to do some type of retreat. So that will be interesting. And then, in April, I probably am going over to the West Coast, but that's just a family thing. So nothing too exciting. And then our big trip for the year, we're trying to get to Bali in October.
Oh, fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that would be good.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Oh, and then of course we have the conference this month that I'm going to in Florida.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah.
And,
I don't think I'm going to make that one.
Yeah.
Sydney got casted in a ballet during that weekend, so I'm going. I'm so excited for her. So sorry.
It's okay. Carrie and I will both have a bed now, so that's
yes.
The bright
I
side.
Video of you guys running in the morning. Keep us posted on the run.
So one thing I've noticed, and people, if they're starting to plan for the summer, what do you guys think, like time-wise, is the best window to plan now with all the different hurdles and everything? Do you think they need more time to get stuff planned? Like, what's your window? I can tell you what this article said, but
I think for us, we're planning some people coming into Arizona and then out to Hawaii, right, in the summer. We have like a lot of our clients are teachers, Tammy, and all of them, when they're traveling in the summer as well. I would say for best pricing, like start looking now. So then they can get the excursions they want, where they're going, get the hotel rooms they want. We were up against it. People all of a sudden started booking last minute for December. And Vigil and I were trying to pull trips off within 2 weeks. And it was hard, wasn't it? It was like really hard to find what they wanted to do and the rooms that they wanted, the excursions they wanted. So I think give yourself some time.
I think people will be surprised. A lot of people think that travel's not going on. I was just talking to my aunt yesterday and she's like, "Oh, how's your travel business going?" I said, "It's going really well, actually." She goes, "Oh, people are traveling." And I get a lot of clients that are thinking that people aren't traveling, so they have time to book. And really, people are traveling. Hawaii is really full right now. When we're looking for people for Hawaii, it's really full. We have a client that wants to go to Mexico, and he wants a specific hotel and a specific room, and it's been sold out, and he's not going till July. And we're like, no, they don't have any more of these junior suite rooms available in this specific hotel.
Yeah, well, because the hotels are still, a lot of them are limiting kind of their capacity
Mm-hmm.
as well, so there's a lot less rooms available.
Exactly.
So,
and that's why to book earlier, you get a chance to save some money because every day you get closer to it, and it kind of goes up, especially with flights. You never know. Those things I've seen change within 5 minutes of Michelle and I are like, it's just, wait, no, change. It's this price now. So it's good to lock it down early, in my opinion, but also I'm a planner. So I like to have all my ducks in a row before I head out, especially if it's international.
yeah, no, I think it's good. So for this article, it was saying they recommend 2 to 8 months in advance for international trips and 1 to 3 months in advance for domestic trips. And that tends to be, this is a flight they run. It's a flight thing. They say that's when the best flight deals are usually available. But for international, I definitely think, just because there's so many considerations now, like what the travel restrictions are going to be, what you're going to need to do. Getting the right travel insurance that's going to cover and be able to, change things and all that. Definitely.
Well, our trip into Croatia, we pulled off in 3 weeks, and I'm telling you now, we were sweating bullets trying to make sure they had a rental car, trying to make sure they had everything they needed, because they were doing this tour, and it was a self-driving tour, and it was a feat to get it pulled off. So we would appreciate the 2 months.
Or more.
But it was fun. It was fun to make it happen. It really was a lot of fun to do. So
what destinations, you guys kind of mentioned them, but so Hawaii, you've been getting a lot of Hawaii, Mexico, or has there been
a ton of Mexico
hot destinations that you notice more people are wanting to travel to right
Costa
now?
Rica is picking up like crazy because it's just so beautiful.
Costa Rica is hot right now. Everyone wants to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. A lot of people are mentioning, Rome and, Greece, and they want to do that. We do have a lot of honeymoon couples that we're working with that want those 2 specific areas. And funny enough, they are in the medical field, and they're like, we want out, we want to travel, we want to go have some fun. So those are our longer trips, like 14 days. They're looking at 14 days for both locations. So but I think Costa Rica is probably the most sought after destination that we've been seeing lately.
Okay. Are they still requiring the extra insurance for Costa Rica?
Yes. And you have to be fully vaccinated. They haven't said anything about a booster going in, but as of January 6th, you had to be fully vaccinated to come in and stay at the resorts there.
Okay.
So they have had their requirements are just laid out beautifully. There's no questions asked what they want. So they do a good job of it. And the extra insurance is a must. So.
Okay. Yeah, I knew they had that earlier in the last year in June when I had people travel there. So. Yeah. Costa Rica is really cool. I spent quite a bit of time there, and we drove around, and it was awesome. But people drive like crazy there. So if you're driving, beware.
Buckle up.
People drive crazy everywhere. I think the Middle East, India, Mexico, Sri Lanka.
Barbados scares me. Like there are roundabouts there, and everything's on the opposite side. It's scary to me. Like I just close my eyes. I'm like, just trust in the driver. So it's a lot of fun though. It
definitely, it's a fun adventure. I like driving around and seeing like the things off the beaten path. As long as it's a safe destination, but Costa Rica is really safe. So we drove. Okay, let me see. So resorts that are opening up, the biggest news I know about upcoming resorts is Sandals. They just opened their 404 room Sandals Royal Bohemian Resort. Just opened up after 55 million of refurbishing and renovation. So I actually had a friend who's an agent who went there for the grand opening. Unfortunately, bad timing because they had the cold snap that we've had over here on the East Coast was all the way down there. They had in Florida, they had a iguana falling from tree warning because
oh my gosh,
iguanas get like stunned and
it's raining iguanas.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So it was even cold in the Bahamas, I guess. Not super, but the resort itself looked amazing. And then the Sandals is opening a resort in Curacao in April, which I was just at Curacao, and that's actually one of my favorite Caribbean islands. It's a Dutch. I don't know if it's really, but it's really just a clean, safe. You can just like get off. Like we got off the boat and just walked around, and it has a really neat downtown area and stuff like that. So I would definitely love to go see that Sandals once it's opened up. I think that'll be a really good destination. And there's lots of fun stuff to do in Curacao. Like Nate and I did snorkeling, and it was really nice. There was a ton of excursion options there, but but other than that, you guys know of any like hotels opening or resorts or anything exciting in the travel world?
We've known a few resorts that have opened under different names now. In Puerto Vallarta,
Hawaii as well. They've done that. The refurbishing in Hawaii of the hotels. So I'm trying to think of which one it was. We just sent our clients to Mexico.
What was Puerto Vallarta? It was the Hyatt. It was, it was the Hilton. It was, I think it was before Grand Fiesta, and now it's Hilton.
Now it's the Hilton,
And they loved it. They sent us pictures, and they're just like raving all over Facebook.
And it went from adult only to family friendly, and they still loved it. They were wanting adult only, but she said it was just an amazing property, and they refurbished it beautifully. So.
Yeah, I stayed there before it became Hilton, and I think the nice part about that property is it's got one of the nicest beaches in Puerto Vallarta, in my opinion, that I've been to, and I've been to quite a few. And it's close to downtown, so it's like a really short trip to get. Which downtown Puerto Vallarta is like so fun to go to. Like, if you're gonna stay there, it makes sense to stay near downtown so you can go wander around, and they have like stuff going on all the time. Like the community really goes to that area too, so you can kind of immerse yourself in the local vibe. So I would love to see what that property looks like. It was.
I would too. I think we should plan a company trip down there.
Michelle's like, girls trip. Yeah, she loved it, and she did say that it was only at 30% capacity booked that time. So she said it felt like they were just on their own private little island, and she just loved it. So the food was great, she said as well.
The food was very good. Yeah, they enjoyed the food there too.
Yeah, I think Puerto Vallarta is going to grow just because they're having such the problem with the sargassum seaweed issues in Cancun and Riviera Maya, like starting. I mean, you can't predict it, but it seems to kind of follow like hurricane season, like starting in May and going through the whole summer all the way to like fall. It seems like it's really bad. So. Yeah,
the seaweed was horrific this last summer. It was really bad. That was one of the biggest complaints, I think, from clients, not just like us, but all over with all the travel agents. It was the seaweed concern, and they did everything they could to clean it every day. And that is just a huge undertaking, but it is a pain.
Yeah, especially like you're going to have your wedding or something like that.
It's exactly.
Photos, and
it's kind of a bummer.
So I definitely, and I think Costa Rica will grow for that reason too. Like those kind of destinations are going to see or destination weddings and stuff. It's a bummer for the Riviera Maya Cancun industry, but I just don't know what they can do about it. And a lot of the Caribbean islands deal with the same thing too. I know when we were at, I think it was Barbados, they had a huge issue with it too. So
And that's why our couple that's getting married in Costa Rica jumped on it, because they had mentioned the seaweed. Do you remember that? And so they wanted Costa Rica for that reason. And now they're super excited because they got to go on a site inspection that Vigel like talked to them about doing, and they're just over the moon now that they got to see the resort and see where she's going to say I do, and so it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
lots of fun.
But I think with Mexico, Cancun Riviera Maya is already so fairly built up now.
Yeah.
So now they're going around to the Yucatan. And I think that's a kind of a new destination where there's some hotel, like the Progreso Merida area, there's some hotels already there, but because now cruise ships are also going there,
Wow.
it's another area that's being really built up that nobody's really asking to go to, but it's nice beaches and it's still a great place to go in Mexico.
Yeah, it's kind of untouched.
It's interesting because different countries too, like travel to different areas. So like on my cruise, I went to Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic and I had never been there before. I have never had anybody request us to go there. Like, and it's absolutely beautiful there. Like I was like, this is the best part of Punta Cana I have been to, like, or not the Dominican Republic. Why haven't I been here before? It's like way better than Punta Cana in my opinion. So it's interesting. There's areas that have the tourism, but United States citizens don't
go there.
Don't go
we
there.
always have people requesting Punta Cana, like always. Maybe we should start, maybe one of our, clients, we should be like, hey, have you seen this one?
Yeah, I really liked Amber Cove. It looked a lot like St. Lucia, or it was very like mountainous and had all the like jungle kind of look, and it was cleaner looking, and you're kind of it seemed like the resorts were a little bit further from like the city area.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, I really liked it. Even the cruise terminal, like that's probably one of the nicest cruise stops I've ever been in. They had like a resort. The cruise terminal was a resort. It had a pool. It had swim up bars. It had like a zip line. You could pay like I think it had little cabanas you could rent on the ocean.
That's cool.
And stuff. It was like a Margaritaville at the
that's awesome.
And the prices were really reasonable for like drinks and stuff. And they had this one like special drink that if you got it, they like sang to you and made a huge deal. It was like really huge.
That's neat.
So, that was probably. I was very pleasantly surprised because I was like, DR is not one of my favorite places to visit. So I'm like, ew, 2 DR stops with La Romana and Amber Cove, and I'm like, but yeah, it was nice. I wanted to. So in this thing, the interesting thing I said that how COVID has changed travel plans for 2022. 51% of the respondents said they're more interested in spots with fewer people, beaches, parks, forests, etc.
Yeah.
But that's what I think that's another thing that we need to kind of find a niche with for us too, and with Awaken, is a lot of people don't know of these places like you just mentioned, or in the Yucatan around the Progreso Merida area, or even in Hawaii, there's places that you can go that are not full of people and big mega resorts. In fact, the guy that I sent to Costa Rica in December on a last minute, 2-week trip or something, he didn't want to go to a big resort, and he didn't want to go to Dreams or Margaritaville or any of those others. He wanted a small resort that he could just sit on the beach and be by himself and relax. And so we found him a resort that was 100 rooms. He liked the resort. He said everybody knew him. They from the very first day. Food was great. The beach was right there. It was on a cliff. So there was a shuttle to go down to the beach, and he said the beach was deserted. There was nobody really there except a few Canadians, and that he was able to talk with. So those kind of places, like off the beaten path kind of travel, I think is what's going to be more normal than it was before. It took a kind of a different kind of traveler to request those off the beaten path trips. You had the backpackers requesting it.
Yeah, the more adventurous.
Younger Bohemian couples. But my client was in his 50s, and he loved the trip because it wasn't a big mega resort. He wasn't surrounded by people. He wasn't a number or just another guest. He was what they called him every single day. Hello, Mr. Johnson. Here's your table. Would you like your usual? So I think those kind of things are what we need to start focusing on more after COVID, because now it's more people like that want that kind of off the beaten path, the smaller resort, the smaller cruise ships. Those kind of things.
Even smaller tours, we're getting asked, like, we want more intimate, like, tours with, not like a mega bus going through. They wanted like 6 to 8. That was our Outlander trip. And so they brought 6. So that entire tour is to those 3 couples. So it's a lot. That's exactly what they wanted. They wanted more of a, just family oriented with their spouses tours. So I think you're right. It's going to be bigger.
Yeah, I really like, that's probably my preference of type of travel to book. Like I really like going in and finding those off the beaten path, because that's what I do when I travel. If I have like, I mean, sometimes I do obviously the resorts and the cruise lines and stuff like that, because I need to know those products as well. But if it's my trip I'm planning, that's what I want to go do. Is like when we go to Bali, like I was supposed to go do a fam and now I'm planning it, and it's going to be just going and getting some guy who is, you know, from Bali showing us like, hey, show us all the things and we'll wander and go see all the stuff. Like I don't really like being in the touristy type.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I just
turn off for me. Like me. So.
Yeah.
But that's how we've all of us, because we have that travel background, we are able to do that. And I think if we can put that expertise and kind of even focus on that niche of off the beaten path, smaller groups, smaller tours. People are in the impression, there's an impression on that off the beaten path can either cost you a lot more if you're going with like a company like Top Tours or, you know, Abercrombie and Kent, but not always either, because in Costa Rica, his trip was less than what he would have paid at a mega resort. And
2 weeks prior to traveling.
And 2 weeks prior to traveling.
It was a good price. We were shocked. So.
Right.
It was,
go ahead.
Sorry. So so making those connections on the in-country providers, because one of the things that he got to do was have a driver for a day. That in Barbados, we actually sent him to, not Barbados, excuse me, we sent him to Antigua and did the same kind of thing. And he had a driver for the day that took him around everywhere and showed him all the local hangouts. So instead of feeling like a tourist, I think with COVID, people are wanting to, after COVID travel, people are wanting to feel more like travelers.
Yeah.
Experiences. And go ahead. No, I was just going to say, we did a trip, a surprise. Sometimes our vendors do surprise like resorts, and you just pay a price and you don't know what you're getting until the day before. And we got the biggest, best resort for our guy to go in, and they were so excited. So it's kind of fun to have that spontaneity too, you know, kind of like, I know I'm going to have a place to lay my head, but he really lucked out. He
really lucked out. Yeah, we did an impress me deal.
Yeah, and it's fun to have that spontaneity and kind of just like venture out on your own and make it your own memories. So
yeah. Well, I mean, to me, that's what travel is like it's an adventure. It should be an adventure. You should be going and doing something different than like I don't know. So that's cool that you guys were able to do that. I was just going to say about the driver thing. We did like a cruise. I don't know how many years ago it was, but it was like 3, 4, 5 years ago, all over the Caribbean, and it stopped in Trinidad, which is not usually a place you go. And so we did the same thing. We hired just a local. He was a young guy. He picked us up from the cruise port and just drove us all over Trinidad for the day and took us just to the local beach and just all sorts of things, drove us up on the mountain so we could look over the main city and stuff. And my daughter, I mean, I think we had 9 ports we stopped. It was like a 2-week cruise. And that was her favorite. Like she talked about going to Trinidad and going and doing that tour, like of all the things we did. And it was, it just was, I don't know. It's something about getting immersed in that local culture and getting to see things that you typically get to see. It just makes you, you feel more connected with the place.
Right.
You remember it.
Do. Yeah. And we did a tuk-tuk. We hired a tuk-tuk in Sri Lanka, and our 10 days in Sri Lanka that we spent, we went during the rainy season just because it was somewhere to go. And so the best part of, not the elephants, went to the elephant sanctuary. I mean, you would think the kids would have remembered all that. The best part of their trip was the tuk-tuk tour, when we sat on the tuk-tuk and just went around the little town, stopped and got coconuts, went to the local church. I mean, nothing touristy, local things that's what they remember. They remember the church. Oh, that was such a cool little colonial looking church in the middle of Sri Lanka. The elephant on the streets, or the local school, I think those are the kind of trips that people are going to be leaning towards more.
100%. I agree. We fell in love with our driver in Barbados. Like, he's a friend of ours now. He's amazing. And we had 2 whole days with him. And it was like, he's driving down the street and he's honking. They honk there because they're happy and friendly and just like the nicest place to go. And he's like, oh, I went to high school with him, and he would explain stuff to us, took us to different areas. And it was just like, he made it more memorable for us. And we were going on a cruise, and we were there prior to the cruise and then after the cruise, and he was our driver both times. And it was Barbados. I always try to get my clients to go to Barbados. I'm like, you will never get into a better melting pot of the friendliest people ever. They are the nicest, kindest people ever. And so, yeah, it really does make a difference, because out of all the ports we went to on that cruise, it was Barbados because of Andrew and how he showed us around and just made it memorable. So it does help to immerse yourself in it. It's awesome.
Yeah. So if anybody's watching that, we love doing those kind of trips.
We do.
So, and that's kind of like, I mean, it is different. It's out of the box, and but it's fun for me. That's like super enjoyable to actually plan those trips and to get my clients to have those experiences. Like that's kind of what I wanted to do with the travel agency when I started it. So
And to not be afraid. So don't be afraid to do those kind of trips, and don't be afraid to travel, whether it's scared of COVID or there's protocols and restrictions that are put in place for your protection. And don't be afraid to go to those destinations and go off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you're going to come back telling all your friends about.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have common sense, like you do anywhere in the United States. Like, have smart common sense. Don't go places you want to go. Don't go out at night by yourself. And
absolutely.
But don't be afraid, because for the most part, I mean, you're just as safe as at home. I mean, there's accidents happen everywhere, and we're always every day. So you just can't sit around and be afraid to live. That's for sure.
No.
I was going to go over a couple more things, and then we probably will call it a meeting. And then hopefully I'll put this on YouTube and stuff like that. So if people have questions, we can start directing it towards answering certain things. But I mean, it's just good to kind of know, who we are and do and stuff. So some of the other things, 40% of people are more interested in visiting family and friends. I've heard a mix of this. So a lot of people are afraid to travel without their family now. Like, I've noticed, like, people say they're not as comfortable leaving like their kids at home, especially they're worried they're going to get like quarantined, and they'll be like stuck in a place without their family.
Right.
But I don't know. I did when I got COVID, and I was a little like hesitant, like, ooh, because my doctor's like, yeah, you could test positive for a while. I'm like, oh yeah. But I think a lot of places have now put things in, like, they don't make you test necessarily. You just have had to have, like, you have to have a certain amount of days since you tested.
Right. And then like just the doctor's not verifying it. Yeah.
Because even like work, my daughter got it and she could go back to work in 5 days. They like,
my son just got over it and was back to work within a week. So
so thankfully, I think that kind of like being afraid of that should lessen, because it isn't as scary of being stuck like someplace for like a month or something like that.
Right. You're never coming home.
Well, that's another reason why we encourage travel insurance too, because
100%. Yes.
will help with, in case you do get quarantined, it helps cover those expenses as well.
Yeah. Which is why Costa Rica requires it, because they were footing the bill for those extended stays. So they were like, yeah, we can't afford this anymore. You guys got to pay for your own extended stay in paradise. So, and then it said 30% of people are booking trips further in advance, which, yay, good news for us.
Yay.
So, I think that's all I have. I'm going to save this article though, because I do think I want to talk about maybe next time how travel affects your mental health. Like, there's a lot of research about, like, not only just getting away from the hecticness of life, like it actually can do some really good stuff for you.
Right.
I mean, with all the stress in life these days, we can all use all the help we can get. So
I've read that it helps the endorphins in the brain, then you just feel better. So it's worth it.
Okay, well, I guess we will go ahead and call it a day. But like I said, I'll see if I can get some people to post some questions for us and stuff next time, and we can chat again. And whoever can make it. And but hopefully we can just, make this a regular occurrence. So, well, I love seeing your guys' smiling faces, and enjoy your day over in Arizona. I know it's cool, but I'm sure it's a lot warmer than here. So
It probably is. Well,
okay.
it was good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
Bye.